From an interview with Clarice Guillory, aired June 27, 2010 on WRTH. WRTH, your constant companion in the loathsome silence of the afterlife. The thing people always forget about Dracula the book, not Dracula the guy, is that for all the sexual overtones and homoerotic subtexts and iconic gothic etc., it's primarily a story about real estate. Your big vampire-slaying hero? He's a real estate agent. He kicks off the whole thing by helping Dracula scoop up some prime property in old London town. This is because Dracula knows what's up. When you're an individual with, certain kinds of needs, you have to think very carefully about where and how you're going to be living. Dracula knows he needs a property with enough open space that the neighbors won't be seeing or hearing his, business transactions, and he wants it to be close to a lunatic asylum so he can use it to recruit some servitors. He's not thirsty for that southern exposure. Most people don't dwell on that part of the story because they're, normos. But if you're keyed into the needs of our particular kinds of people, you can make an excellent living. Just today, I put a nice vampire girl into a windowless basement apartment that a mortal broker wouldn't even list. Yesterday, I moved a particular, unique individual into an old fallout shelter just outside of town. This is what I do. I use my understanding of the needs of our people to match them with properties that meet those needs. Are a lot of them, fixer-uppers? Well, sure, but hey, I don't know about you. I'd rather have a leaky roof than a fucking bay window that's going to turn me to ash the first time we get a sunny morning.
In the decades and centuries since its great tragedy, the city of Salem, Massachusetts has become a sanctuary for the strange, the unusual, and yes, the supernatural. Werewolves, vampires, fairies, mages, and other more esoteric things now walk the streets in relative safety. And when the mortal population gets too curious, they do what any community would do. They form a committee. Welcome to The Chimera, a role-playing adventure podcast. Our campaign this season is called Gallows Hill, and it takes place in our version of the World of Darkness, the setting that encompasses Vampire the Masquerade and all its sibling products. I'm Vin LeBate, and I play 8-Ball, a vampire with mental health issues and an assortment of fake IDs, and joining me this season are...
I'm Braden Lamb, and I play Mew, a mummy cat who's into urban planning and sacred geometry.
I'm Jeffrey Bard, and I play Jack Foxglove, a werewolf shaman who coaches the Salem High School football team, the Salem High Witches.
I'm Ethan Bremner, and I play Mother McCree, an immortal Irish witch and American Civil War veteran.
I'm Kacey Smith, and I play Truly Reynard, an animalistic fairy running from her past, sometimes literally.
And I'm Kelly Weissman Asbruth Jackson, the storyteller.
Now, let's get started.
How heavy does this look? Is this something we could do or no?
How heavy is the manhole cover?
Yeah.
Heavy enough. It's possible, but not easy for a conventional human to lift it. Usually, you use it's a regular type manhole cover, which is a burly guy uses a lever is usually the way that these things get opened.
Yeah. I look down at Coach and shrug my shoulders and go, "It's all you, sonny boy."
Coach kind of looks down a little bit, shakes. And as he shakes, he kind of like stands up and stretches and cracks and shifts back into Dalu form, which is his like near human form. And says, "Fine," and grabs one of the edge. There's holes in manhole covers, right? There's like a way to...
Yeah, there's a way to grab it.
He just kind of puts his claws underneath it and then kind of gets his fingers underneath it, and then flips it up and says, "Okay, I guess we're going down." And Coach goes down first, I guess.
In that form?
Yes, in that form.
Mew hops on Amal's shoulders, and Amal climbs down.
Hmm?
Oh, sorry, what did I call it? Words of Dead Hunger, the ghost vision lasts for an hour.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, I'm going to let you guys go first, and then I'm going to do a quick once around, and then go down as well. And I'm constantly, as is her way, she is in full sniper mode, so she is constantly looking at distances up and down the sewer as soon as she gets down there. So she is checking her 6 is what it is.
Gotcha. Okay, so she's on alert.
Yes.
All right. So it's dark down there in the sewer. There's no inherent light.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and activate Night Creature, which is the night vision / sketchiness detector. Like ethical sketchiness, I should say.
Right, ethical sketchiness.
Ethical sketchiness.
Yep.
Well, not much I can do about that. It's like pitch black?
Yeah, I mean, there's no inherent light source, so.
Well, I guess you're going first, Amal. Or Mew.
I mean, so Mother McCree has a military issue rucksack. I don't think it's absurd for her to have a flashlight in it.
No.
Oh,
Huh?
yeah, I guess that's true.
So she pulls out the jankest looking, like, antique flashlight you've seen. I mean, obviously it's not Civil War era, but it is definitely not new.
Right, she's been shopping at the Army Supply Store for a long time.
Yes.
It doesn't upgrade to the latest equipment, so.
Absolutely. So she's got a very jank, maybe World War II era flashlight.
Is she a regular at the Army Supply Store that's like right downtown with all
there's one
like
that's right
zombie
right
outfitter
downtown.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was a regular there, but like I don't know how long it's been there, but she's been, she has a lot of military issue things from a long time ago, and
okay,
nothing high tech on her at all. Because once she gets the thing she needs, she doesn't need to replace it. Because why would she?
With your gift, Jeff, you should be able to just follow continuously, right?
Yeah, I'm actually looking at it. I don't think I get any bonuses to tracking in wolf form, which is silly. But yeah.
But the point is, I mean, essentially, we've moved into the realm of the mystical. You're sort of following the essence scent of the whoever this was at this point.
Not from the way it's written. I guess it's like it's more superhuman rather than like supernatural. This isn't like a mystical connection. It is like a crazy physical connection.
Well, either way,
yeah.
If that's the case, Mew and Amal are not joined right now, but he ushers Amal over to Coach.
Actually, hang on. Let me rephrase that because it's actually pretty cool the way it describes the gift. The Aratha's senses are attuned to unusual or otherwise impossible traces, the lingering photons disturbed by the prey's shadow, the slowly settling ripple of air currents disturbed by the prey, the electromagnetic handshake of the prey's smartphone with a wireless hotspot, all leave a trail this werewolf can follow. So it is kind of mystical in that way.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's beyond just the single narrow scent at this point. Or it's the broader conception of scent from beyond the it's more than just the nose, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yes, more than just the nose.
Because the nose, it's loud, right? You're in the sewer.
Right.
There's a lot of background noise there. But there's still something to follow. So
yeah, I'd like to try to see if Mew can follow along because he's got a specialty in stalking prey under stealth. I'm not sure if the stealth would apply here though, because it's sort of like following somebody without them noticing.
Yeah, this is an old trail. I mean, this is a trail several days old at this point, so I think it probably is not relevant in that way.
Oh, hell yeah. Sorry, I was looking up what a military issue flashlight from World War II looks like, and it is amazing. It is a stick with a bulb perpendicular to it. So it's like you hold it up like this, and it's got the thing. So yeah, that's what she's got.
Deeply archaic. All right.
Oh, like a torch.
Yeah. Yeah.
As the Brits say.
So you follow this trail, and Jeff, just to give you a little bit of flavor of what's going on here, there's like every once in a while, Coach's eyes in the dim flashlight light, they glint onto like a half of a footprint on the ground in the muck, patches something on the wall that you're able to identify as a brush of blood. So just in these little hints that no one without Coach's abilities would be able to detect, he's able to plot out the track of a figure moving away from the scene of the crime, through the sewer, down one tunnel, turning down another tunnel, at one point going through the sewage, but able to pick it up on the other side. And it takes a while, right? It's a long pathway. But eventually you reach a point where there is a paneled up, like, hey, there used to be a sewer grate here and there's not a sewer grate anymore. So like a section of like a tunnel that's been walled off. And the trail leads right up to this sealed off tunnel.
Like what would have been part of the sewers, but is now no longer part of the sewers, or something of a different construction at all together.
So I will say you're in an older section of so the tunnel, the sewer tunnels have been built and rebuilt over time. You're in an older section now. This is an area where basically like, this is a very Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles level of understanding of how sewers work, which I'll be honest and say is the level that I operate at.
Which I'm assuming is 100% accurate.
Completely. That was a documentary, right? There are these tunnels. They're wide enough for people to walk through. Every once in a while, something forks or something connects. This is an area where there would be a branch off, but it's been sealed up, boarded up, actually, with boards. In a pretty comprehensive way, not just a clumsy way. Like it looks old. It looks like it's been like that for a while. Like it's something that's been set off. There's three of you. I'm just gonna say it. It doesn't take once you know that the trail leads right up to it. It doesn't take too much of poking around to determine that actually this is a hatch, right? There's a hidden kind of clasp, and this is not actually a seal. This is a door.
All right.
Kelly,
Coach sorry. Coach, I guess.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Can we do that one more time? Coach will put his ear up against the hatch, just see if he can hear anything on the other side.
Okay. And I was just going to use magic to just see if there's anything living on the other side of the door again.
So the perception roll now is, I think, resolve based, right?
Wits and resolve or something like that?
Wits and resolve. I think that's right. So, Jeff, you go ahead and make a perception roll based on your hearing.
All right.
And Ethan, go ahead and do your life detect.
That's going to be 7 dice for me.
That is 3 successes.
Okay.
That is 3 successes.
There is a faint sound on the other side of music. And Ethan, Mother McCree can tell that there is something that sets off her life detect sense on the other side of this hatch, but it is weird. Like, she's pretty used to weird, right? She's seen a lot over the course of her extended lifespan.
Yeah.
And, this is something that's like, it's alive. Maybe it shouldn't be.
So in terms of like what she has experienced, it is not like anything. So it's not a werewolf. It's not probably a fae. It's not a chupacabra.
It might be a plesiosaur.
Not a plesiosaur. I mean,
she would know if it feels like a vampire, right?
Yeah, she would definitely know if it felt like a vampire. She would definitely know if it felt like a werewolf or a fae.
Okay.
And it definitely doesn't feel like any of those three things.
Okay.
I hear music on the other side. You ready for me to open this?
Can we hear the music or no? It's faint. It's faint enough so that you'd have to have.
It's faint enough that you'd have to put your ear to the hatch and have at least as good hearing as Coach does.
Sure. Okay.
Mew pipes up. Please allow me the honor of the first dance.
Okay. I think it's a waltz.
Mother McCree, is there a way that you could put me on the other side of this door to scout ahead?
Is there a reason why we don't just open the door?
Drap? Alarm? Sound?
Well, I guess, but whatever. It's your funeral. You've already had one, right?
Two.
I find the whole endeavors to be unnecessary. 2 successes.
Do you want to describe what the spatial effect looks like to let Mew through the door?
Yeah, so for anything that Mother McCree does with the spatial stuff, it involves holes in what she perceives as organic material. In this case, holes in the wood, even though it's not alive, it's still wood. So whether that is really what happens or how the visual effect works, it is a hole appears in the wood and Mew disappears and reappears on the other side of the wood. And that's just Mew, right?
That's just Mew.
Not them all.
No.
Okay.
Night creature gives me a bonus to stealth. Reduce target number for stealth rolls to remain unnoticed. In darkness, it goes down to 2. The target number goes down 2.
Oh,
That's incredible.
So on the other side, there is light.
Oh, okay. So 1.
Although it's not the best light. So there's here's what it looks like on the other side. You've basically got what in ages past might have been a place where several different tunnels came together. So there's like a vaulted ceiling. There's a couple of modern lights, the kind you see on a pole, with like the super bright like halogens with the cage around them that you have like set up, I don't know, in a movie at like some late night archaeological dig or something, right? Something like that.
Right.
Like on a tripod.
On a tripod, yeah. There's a couple of those around, and those are bright, so there's light in this room, but they're not like illuminating the entire room. They're pointed, right? Those are directed lights. So the light is pointed at an area kind of in the middle of this section with vaulted ceilings where there's some furniture. It's nice, but it's worn and it's messy, right? And it's mismatched. So like a big leather chair and some things like that. There's a work table where the person in this room is at the work table, has their back to the door, and appears to so far be none the wiser that you're there. Mew can smell cooking smells, onion and some herbs and some other things like that. There's some sort of a stove set up, and there's something cooking away there. The music Mew can hear now is on an old phonograph, also in the area that's illuminated by the lights. It's something, or I don't know that Mew is a scholar of classical music, so he may or may not of like European classical music, so may or may not recognize it, but it's an orchestral piece. And anything else? No, I think that's about it.
Coach is gonna keep his ear up against the wall or against the door while Mew's on the other side.
Music continues for Coach.
Is this person cooking flickering? Are they sketchy?
They're super sketchy. Yes, they definitely set off the sketch sense. Very very tall, very broad figure, little hunched over, so not a ton of detail available from the back, but big guy.
Okay. Although he acts very calm and controlled, Mew's kind of base nature, based on his decree of heart, is action and improvisation. He's gonna do something a little crazy. He's gonna let's see, first activate the second aspect of Night Creature, which is to empower himself to be an enemy of the unclean. Reduces the target number of all his actions intended to frighten or injure the unclean by 1. What else? He's gonna sneak a little closer, and if he is not detected, he's going to use Grip of Death, which is +2 to grapple, and the grappled target is silenced.
Okay. Mew's going to basically jump on this guy's back. Is that what's happening?
Yep, exactly.
All right. That's an exciting choice, Braden. I'm looking forward to playing this out.
Got a specialty in grapple. Specialty is just an additional die?
Yep.
Ooh, but it's... by default, it's strength. I think I'll boost my strength. I think it's a 1-to-1 sechem, or, pillar to strength dot.
It depends what his permanent sechem is.
Oh, okay. Permanent is 3.
I think that might be good enough that you get 2-to-1.
Okay.
Basically, the higher your sechem, the more... I think it's always 1-to-1 for dexterity, but it gets better for strength and stamina.
Right, that's right. So I'll do that and get 3 on strength, 3 for brawl, 1 for grapple, and then 2 more for Grip of Death. Boy, I hope this works.
It's a really strong cast.
Also, the target number goes down by 1.
Cool.
3 success. Oh, wait, no, I got a 0. Is 0 roll again?
You reroll.
And that's 1 more.
Okay.
So 5.
5, okay.
Exceptional
Success. That's a good outcome. On the outside of the door, is Amal still connected? Like, what's the deal with...
Oh, they've disconnected. They're not, like, psychically connected or anything right now.
All right, so he has no particular insight into what's going on the other side of the door. Okay, so...
Yeah, basically, Mew can only do, like, dice rolls if he's doing them through Amal if they're connected.
Got it. Okay, he has to be sort of passive. Okay, got it. Mew jumps on this guy's back and attempts to grapple him. So, the initial grapple succeeds. What does that look like for a cat relative to a very large man?
Basically, one big leap up onto his shoulder and then sinking his teeth into this guy's neck.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or into this person's, or this being's neck.
So, Mew is able to do that. He leaps up, he lands successfully, he sinks his teeth into this being's neck.
Also, soul infusion means I reflexively drain 1 willpower point from this guy for each turn that this grapple goes on.
Yeah. Okay. So, now Mew's in the light, physically on this person, in literal contact with him. So here are some more things about the person. His flesh it's not cold, but it's not warm enough. It's room temperature, basically, which is strange. I guess Mew's not going to get a good look at him because of the way that this is happening, so I'll probably leave it at that. It doesn't taste good either. Not that I don't think Mew has a taste for biting people, but probably worse than the average taste of a person. Does that make a noise?
They might thrash around, I think, but they can't vocalize.
Right, I get it. That the person that Mew is grappling can't vocalize. I meant when Mew... Does Mew make a noise?
No.
Okay. Then on the other side of the door, you just keep hearing music, Jeff.
Okay.
I'm trying to look up the system.
Mm-hmm.
Do I still have a sensory lock on this life form from the magic from before?
Yeah, I'll say yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you know that they're there. You'd have a sense of if they moved, right?
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. So one of the things that is part of the life tree is understanding its physical state.
Mm-hmm.
So if something attacks it, if something penetrates it with its teeth, I should know that. Like, I would know that if I have a lock on there.
Right, because it's an injury. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that registers. The living thing on the opposite side of this door has been harmed in some way. You can sense that.
Mother McCree mutters under her breath to Coach, "The damn fool creature just attacked it. I suppose we should probably go in and help."
I think we gotta wait for the signal.
Amal pulls out a little pistol in preparation.
Coach holds up his hands. Just wait.
Amal is visibly restraining himself from rushing to the rescue.
Yeah, actually, in the same vein, Mother McCree looks at Amal's gun and kind of chortles to herself, pulls out her walking stick, and though the wooden door is shut, she lifts it up to her eye in full sniper mode, just looking through it, pointing directly at the door.
Okay.
So Mew's plan, such as it is just to keep draining this guy's willpower as long as he can until he's unconscious.
Mm-hmm. But now you're in a grapple with this guy, which means that I believe we have, after it's been successfully engaged, we get to roll to determine who's in control of the grapple.
Okay.
Come on, Kitty.
Come on, this is the time for my massive dice pool to finally yield some successes. Wow. 5, 3 10s there. 6, 7, another 10. That's it.
Okay. This guy has fists like hams, right? I mean, this very burly fellow, and tries to swat at Mew, and you can feel the force of them as they pass narrowly by Mew's right ear, for instance. But doesn't Mew is so small, doesn't manage to get a grip on him.
And Mew just sinks his little kitty claws in all the tighter.
There you go. So far you are completely winning this grapple, and you get another will point off of the guy.
Coach is going to shift as he's got his ear up against the wall. Shift from Dalu to Urshel, which is the near wolf. It's the sort of big, dire, wolfy looking. It's about the size of a horse, kind of. Except it looks like a wolf. He basically doubles in size and is just a giant, scary-looking wolf right now. But also keeps his ears against the door. Like his head doesn't move, but his body shifts around, kind of like what's going on. But he's still got his ear up against the wall.
Kelly, is willpower a physical thing or a mental thing?
You mean should it be registering on your life detector?
Yes.
I'm giving you. I'm sort of saying it's on the line, like it's kind of both.
Right.
So if you, for instance, if you were using mind, I would also let you see that there was something going on there.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, I don't know. It's not really a stat that lines up directly with anything, so I didn't know if it's like. But it is like willpower is also like how you push a big physical action too. So that would make sense that it is still tied somewhat to life.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess what I'm going to say now is I'm just going to track how far away this thing is from being completely subdued.
A long way.
Okay.
Oh boy.
And Kelly, I have to ask, because you were out of the room and Jeff just said it. I just want clarification. Ishmael has been going to all of the town meetings, right?
I wouldn't say that he never misses one, but yes, he does appear at town meetings.
Mother McCree has interacted with the Prometheus.
She has interacted with. Yeah, she's been in the same room as him. She doesn't go to a lot of town meetings, though, right?
No, she doesn't. No. He was he at the last one?
He was specifically at the last one. We established that he was at the one that she was just at.
So this is not Ishmael.
I don't think that she used her life sense during that meeting.
Okay. Could she safely discount the idea that this is Ishmael?
No.
Okay.
Also, we don't know what Ishmael or what this creature looks like, right? Only Mew does.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The things just continue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, another contested grapple?
I think we're going around as long as I'm just periodically checking in to make sure there's no action on the other side of the door.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Presumably Amal is doing what Coach tells him to do?
Yeah. He doesn't necessarily like taking orders from anybody but Mew.
Okay.
3 successes on this one.
3 successes.
Yeah.
Okay. There's, more bobbing and weaving. This figure is just sort of flailing around trying to throw Mew off, ends up sweeping one arm wide and knocking a bunch of stuff off of the work table. The onion goes flying, but brings his left hand around and manages to grab Mew and just fling him bodily off of his back. So he has successfully separated Mew.
Okay.
And flings Mew across the room.
Mew reflexively yells like a person as he's flung across the room.
Ah! Okay, Jeff, you can hear the yell from the other side of the door.
All right. When I hear the yell from the other side of the door, I'm going to, since I don't have any hands, I'm going to activate all doors locked and fling open the hatch.
Interesting. Yeah, okay. Trying to think of what happens to this door if you do that.
Uh-oh.
I think, it's magic. Okay, yeah. So, the hatch opens. It opens like vertically, like the hinges up at the top.
Right.
And it's just going to stay open, right? Because those are the terms of the gift.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just locked open. Now you can see once it's open that there's like a fairly complicated mechanical mechanism on the other side and a bunch of stuff around it that looks like it could be some sort of a trap. But I think the intention of the gift is that this should open like it's being unlocked, not like it's going to set off the trap.
Right.
So yes, you successfully opened the hatch. Inside the area that I described, right, there's these couple of tripod lights that are illuminating an area at the center of this vaulted room. You can smell the cooking. You can hear the sound of the Rite of Spring playing on the phonograph. And in the center of the lights, having just flung Mew off, probably into the shadow somewhere, just away, is a very angry Ishmael. And you all know what Ishmael looks like, as he was at that meeting, right? He's probably about 7 feet tall, patchwork of human flesh with visible sewing, like visible seams across his face. He has his brand for the city of Salem to indicate his citizenship on his forehead, unlike most people. So he's pretty immediately recognizable, even under unusual circumstances. He whirls and turns to the open door, looking very aggravated at being disturbed.
So Mother McCree is stock still. She does not move. She is still... is this a straight shot? Not a straight shot. No. There's no curve to the tunnel, right?
That's right. Yeah, no. You've got a straight point of line of sight to Ishmael. That is true.
Okay.
I think Amal is just about to go ahead and shoot him.
Yeah, I think Amal's probably going to do the first thing here, it sounds like. Which is that he's just going to shoot.
Yeah.
I don't have his sheet in front of me.
I do. He's got 2 decks, 1 firearms.
Okay.
That's cute.
He has a light revolver, which is a dice modifier 2. I guess that's for damage. 0 successes.
Okay. Yeah.
And 1-1. I don't know if we're doing botch rules.
There are dramatic failures.
There are dramatic failures. I think it's a little bit more complicated than just...
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are for that.
Roll the 1 again.
That's a 6.
Okay. He shoots, the bullet goes completely wide, and it knocks out one of the 2 tripod lights. The room just got a lot less well lit.
You damn fool! If you're gonna shoot shoot the target.
Ethan, do you have an action?
Yeah, I'm not going to fire. I am, your name is Ishmael, isn't it?
So Ishmael, despite being very angry, grins a bit at this and says, "Yes, and you are not welcome in my home. Kindly take your cat and leave." So now let's pause this home invasion for a little while and move back over to Truly and 8-Ball. You were on your way, I believe, to see Henri, aka the Snake Guy. So Henri lives in a residential neighborhood in Danvers, a little bit similar to the one in Salem you were just in, although the houses are set further apart here. A little bit more, we'd call it deep suburb.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm not even sure if that part of Danvers has streetlights at all, right? Definitely not set up for anybody walking. It's not set up for pedestrians. Not for anybody really being out. By now, you're probably past midnight. You're into the wee hours.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a house. The grounds are notably less well kept than the lots on either side are. Has the look of a property that is not being very well maintained. It was at one point carefully maintained. A lot of plantings, but things have sort of become overgrown and disorganized, and not whoever was doing the gardening is not doing the gardening anymore.
Does that seem in character or out of character for Henri?
For Henri? Hard to say. I mean, you've never been to Henri's place before.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of the less connected to the community among the vampire population of Salem and its immediate environs. Like, he's not one of the Mayapple people. He's not really involved in city politics very much.
Was he at the meeting?
Was he at the meeting? Think back. Yeah, you probably saw him there.
Okay.
You would guess. It's not like he doesn't show up in general. It's just like there's definitely levels of engagement in the city, right?
Yeah.
There are some people who are sort of, they're leaders of various groups or factions, and then there are the people who are at least involved in those groups and factions. And then there are the people like a level down from that who are just kind of on the periphery of things. Henri's a guy who's kind of on the periphery of things.
Yeah, but he's not dead.
Not as far as you know. No.
Yeah.
Not. You've certainly seen Henri recently enough that this is not him just being dead. Right?
Okay, cool.
It's not. Yeah.
So, unlike the previous place, I feel like it's not particularly weird for two adult people to be knocking on Henri's door. So I think we're just going to do that. So I know the last one had you like a touch freaked out. This is the one that maybe you should actually be freaked out a little bit.
Further information, please.
Vampires who are into snakes tend to be on the more creepy side in terms of what they actually do versus their sort of vibe.
Okay. Still don't really know what that means, but
yeah, it's tough to really put words to. Just saying, don't let your sort of emotional and psychological guard down.
Yeah, I try never to do that. But
yeah, that's part of the other reason why I think it's good that we're team discretion.
Okay.
You have time to have that whole exchange while you're standing on the doorstep waiting for an answer to the doorbell. But eventually, you can see there are lights on in the house. It's visible that there are lights on.
Yep.
Although the curtains are pulled and there's not any way to see in. But eventually the door does swing open. Standing there is a tall, handsome black man with a shock of white in his black hair, wearing a very nice, very comfortable looking silk robe. He regards you both with cocked eyebrow and says, bonsoir? This is Henri.
Hey, man. So, you were at the meeting the other night, the town meeting, right?
This is, indeed I was, but please, why don't you come in? It's rude and potentially indiscreet to chat on my stoop this early in the evening.
I go in.
Yep.
So inside, the place looks very different from the aesthetic of the outside. The aesthetic of the outside is that this is a nice house, but the grounds at least have really been allowed to go to seed. There's no one paying attention to them. Inside, however, it's quite well appointed, very tasteful. The style of decor is probably best described as like Caribbean colonial, and the lights are on throughout the house, and also there are just snakes all over the place, like a lot of snakes. Most of them pretty small, not any big like constrictors or anything, but just snakes hanging out, just like moving back and forth from room to room, slithering in and out of the otherwise very nice decor. Just being snakes. Like, this is a house full of snakes.
Okay. I guess this is exactly what it was supposed to be. Cool. Cool. So, you remember at the meeting, they're talking about setting up a committee to deal with masquerade stuff?
He reclines onto a very nice divan and sips something red from a crystal glass and says, I recall, yes. He has a Haitian accent, which I'm absolutely not going to attempt for obvious reasons. But
So that committee is us, it turns out.
Good for you. Congratulations on your important appointment.
Yeah, important remains to be seen, but thank you. So it turns out that you are on the list of people we need to talk to, because apparently, and this is a surprisingly mundane thing for me to say in this situation, the neighbors have been complaining about the snakes.
He has been very gentlemanly and comfortable, even surprisingly relaxed. Certainly very relaxed for someone sitting down in a room full of snakes. Like, literally you had to move a snake in order to sit down, right? Up until this point. But when you say, okay, the neighbors have been complaining, he scowls, he sets down his glass with enough force to spatter a little bit of blood on the carpet. He stamps his foot and says, "This is an outrage. I have been having to deal with these absolutely intolerable mortals for too long now. I should just eat them and be done with it."
So here's the thing with mortals. There's always more of them, and when you remove a couple others come in to kind of fill the void. And most of them seem to be uncomfortable about snakes, so this may be something of a perpetual problem, regardless of who you do or do not eat. Let's maybe talk through what you think they've noticed.
He looks around, snakes to his left, snakes to his right, reaches out, one crawls up his arm, he sort of looks at it face to face. I mean, it is true. I allow a great many snakes to be a guest in my home, but the vast majority aren't even poisonous, poses no particular health hazard, and from the perspective of the local constabulary, there's no there's laws against keeping them as pets, obviously, but they're free to come and go, and no one gets to see into the house. They're just complaining about the fact that there are some snakes in the tall grass outside. And again, I don't anticipate any real problems with the law over this. I'm within my rights.
I mean, the problem isn't necessarily the law so much as what happens when the wrong people get freaked out and turn up with torches. I'm not saying you have to ditch the snakes. I would not say that. You know me. I'm just saying you need to maybe think a little more about, like a fence.
Crosses his arms at this idea.
Or, I mean, how many actual houses do you share a property line with?
Does a little, just like thinking through his map of the neighborhood, gesturing in the air, and says, "There are 4, if you want to be technical about it."
I mean, you could try to buy him out.
Ugh. What would I do with 4 more drab, depressing, ugly houses?
Think of them like a fence?
Well, I suppose if I gestures about, the decorations in this room aren't just nice. Some of them are visibly quite expensive. There's some pieces of art and a few curios and decorative pieces that are clearly made of precious materials. Perhaps part with a few things and make some of my assets liquid enough to construct this fence, as you put it. If I do this, and I have further problems with the mortals in this neighborhood...
You have my number.
Very good. Very good.
Actually, if you end up with these extra properties, sometimes folks come into town, they can't necessarily legit get a place. We could let someone, you could have a neighbor who's not going to complain about snakes for a couple of months. They switch out. House is empty for a couple of months. Make it look real.
Yes. I could be one of those Airbnb impresarios.
Yeah, but I think you need a very specific clientele, which is to say our type of clientele. So I'm going to make a note to look into that. We're going to put that on the back burner, and we'll see how all the property stuff goes. And yeah. Does that sound good?
This idea has an appeal. Thank you very much, 8-Ball, and your friend.
Truly.
He takes your hand and gives it a kiss. Truly charmed.
Very, very creative. Never heard that one before.
Anything else you want to say before you go?
Henri, pleasure as always. You've got my number. We'll be in touch.
He shows you out, waves goodbye with a hail set, sends you on your way.
Well, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, this job is easy.
Okay, what's next?
That's it this week for The Chimera. Our theme music this season is Down Among the Dead Men, performed by Adrienne Howard, Emily Peterson, and Dirk I. Tiede. For information on other music used in this episode, check the show notes. You can support The Chimera by going to patreon.com/chimerapod. Patrons at any amount get access to behind-the-scenes setting and system info, art polls, and exclusive side games and one-shots. You can also find us online at thechimera.space or on Twitter and Facebook at ChimeraPod. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode, so until then, thanks for listening. Hey gang, just popping in here at the end to let you know that the release schedule may or may not be a little spotty over the next month or two due to neurochemical issues. Not a big deal, just not super functional, which I think is true for a lot of people at this particular moment. But we'll do our best to get episodes to you as regularly as we can, and we hope that you'll do your best to stay safe and functional and make a difference in the world where you're able. Now I'm going to go back to sleep.
I hope it's the plesiosaur.